Good morning and welcome to Michigan Farm and Garden. I'm Jody Polk-Newsome and I'm your host. We have a great show lined up for you this morning. This morning we're going to start our celebration of the fact that June is Dairy Month. We're going to talk about the industry, we're going to talk about a news bureau, and we're also going to talk about the importance of it in your diet. Stay tuned. Good morning, and again, welcome to Michigan Farm and Garden. Folks, I don't know about you, but it's pretty hard to believe it's already June. But certainly when we think about June, we know one of the important celebrations is the fact that June is Dairy Month. We have a great show lined up for you this morning to help celebrate that. My first guest is Ken Nobis. He is with the Michigan Milk Producers Association, and he is a dairy farmer from the St. John's, Michigan area. And we are going to talk about the industry. You know, certainly we know we talk about agriculture on the show. We know that it's very important, but when we look at the ag industry in our state, we certainly know that the dairy industry is a leader. So we're going to talk about that industry, look at some of the opportunities, and give you some good facts and great information so you can have a little more appreciation for that industry. Then my next guest this morning is Aaron Gasper. He is a dairy farmer from the Belding area, and we're going to talk about an initiative that's being funded by our state's farmers, really looking at getting information out and education out there about the dairy industry. So we are going to talk about this news bureau that's been put together, talking about the dairy industry, tell you a little bit about it, how it got together, and then how you, if you have a group that would like to know more about agriculture, specifically dairy, we can get you hooked up with someone who can talk to you and share with you some information. Then certainly when we talk about dairy, we need to talk about the importance of dairy in our diets. So we are going to talk about the importance of dairy, we're going to talk about the nutrition importance, and we are going to do that with Amy Viselli. She is with the United Dairy Industry of Michigan. So we'll talk a little bit about it, and then she's going to come back with me in the recipe segment, and we are going to have Choco Berry Swirl Smoothie. Folks, it's going to be a great show. Make sure you stay tuned, and we will be back with our first guest right after the Michigan Farm and Garden Fact of the Week.
It's time for the Michigan Farm and Garden Fact of the Week, brought to you by the Corn Marketing Program of Michigan.
The Michigan dairy industry, the average dairy cow in Michigan produces 23,164 pounds of milk each year. That's 2,693 gallons of milk a year, or over 8 gallons of milk every day of her milking period. There are about 376,000 dairy cows in Michigan, and Michigan is the nation's 8th largest dairy state, producing over 8.5 billion pounds of milk on an annual basis. It is also one of the most efficient, ranking 6th nationally in milk production per cow. Dairy farming is the top-ranking segment of Michigan's #2 industry, agriculture, and there are approximately 1,900 grade A dairy farms in Michigan. To learn more about this industry, go to mimilk.com.
Corn touches your life every day. With over 600 items in the store that contain corn, it's America's renewable resource. There are amazing new products made from corn, like comforters, clothes, corn stoves, dinnerware, and of course, ethanol.
Corn, America's renewable resource, powering industry, feeding America, and fueling the future.
Thanks to Michigan's corn farmers, the future is bright for innovative products made from corn. To learn more about how corn touches your life, visit our website.
And welcome back. We are back with Ken Nobis, president of the Michigan Milk Producers. Ken, welcome back to the show.
Jody, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
It's good to have you here. Here we are again. It's June Dairy Month. It's pretty exciting.
It comes around very rapidly, doesn't it?
It does. I'm going to have you tell us a little bit about yourself and your operation, and then we're going to talk about this amazing industry.
Okay. Well, I'm also, as you said, president of Michigan Milk Producers Association, but I'm also a farm full-time with my brother, and in a partnership. We milk about 1,050 cows, and we farm about 3,000 acres. My oldest son also works with us in the partnership. So, we keep busy there also, although most of my time nowadays is with the association.
Well, and it's nice to have some of those other generations kind of coming in, and it keeps the family going and keeps them active, all for dairy.
Yeah, and it keeps the older generation sharper, too.
It does. We always have to challenge, don't we?
Right.
Well, and Ken, you know, one of the things we certainly want to talk about when we talk about dairy is how important it is for us here in the state. And I know you brought some slides and information to kind of walk us through, because it's extremely important to Michigan.
Well, it is important to Michigan, and you mentioned earlier we rank number 8 in the nation in terms of milk production. And the production per cow is a very interesting number also, because it's the only state east of the Mississippi that's in that top 10 ranking for production per cow. We really have a very efficient, very productive dairy industry in this state. Kind of lose track of it being an auto industry state. The ag industry is played second fiddle, but got to keep in mind the ag industry kept chugging right along and expanding through the recent recession we've suffered through.
Well, and certainly when we look at it, it's certainly important. When we look at the U.S. milk production, we know that we're really important when we look at bringing money into the state and having that strong dairy industry.
You know, dairy is a great multiplier industry. We have the receipts that come in on the farm, but then with all the associated industries that work with us, like the veterinarians, the feed industry, and then you go the next step further and you have the processing industry, the wholesale industry, and the retail industry. It amounts to a lot of money for the state of Michigan. Actually, the total, I think, when you include everybody, is over a $14 billion economic impact on the state.
Wow. That's substantial.
Yes, it is.
Very substantial. And when we look at that, you know, and look at how we rank, look at with other states, look at production, you know, where does Michigan fall when we look comparatively?
Well, in total production, we'll rank number 8 in the nation. But in production per cow, we rank number 6. Production per cow is a measure of efficiency, and really it's an indicator of the quality of dairy producers that you have within your state, within your region. And to rank 6 in production per cow it's really good.
Well, and certainly I know, and you brought, I want to make sure we get to get through some of the slides too. When we're looking at that production, I think it says a lot for our growers, as you mentioned, that we have so many that are cutting edge and we have such strong production here.
Well, it is. Michigan's dairy industry is a leader in the nation, not just the Midwest, but in the nation. I'm very proud of the producers we have in this state. They are leading edge. They are very adaptable to new technologies that comes along. They were some of the first people in the nation, dairy farmers, to adapt new technology and implement the use of it on their farms.
Well, and I know you have here, when we kind of look at this, when we're looking at that production, what are we looking at? Can you give us an overview?
Well, that goes back 8 years. And as I said earlier, not 8 years, back to 2008. Which takes us through the depths of the recession we've recently gone through. And you can notice by that chart, that's the Michigan production, and we've actually increased every year through that time frame. Actually, if you want to go back to the year 2000, the Michigan dairy industry has expanded about 45% in terms of milk production.
Wow.
With the addition of only 19% more cows.
Wow. 45% production, 19% cows.
Right, correct.
Wow.
Another indicator of the efficiency and the productivity of the Michigan dairy industry.
Well, and I know we'll take a look too, looking at the cows that we do have in state, but looking at that increase, that's absolutely amazing, and I think it says a lot about the productivity of the animals and our producers.
Right, it does. It does. Michigan's a great place to milk cows.
Well, when we look at numbers, certainly looking at the cow numbers, let's just talk a little bit about this, what we're looking to see.
About cow numbers in Michigan, well, what you're looking at on the screen right now is, again, it's the last 8 years, or since 2008, I keep saying 8 years, it's since 2008, it's the number of cows that we've had in the state of Michigan. And it keeps increasing. Again, this year, we're showing right now about 376,000 cows in the state of Michigan. It's really been a strange winter for us because that's only a 3.3% increase over a year ago, but the milk production has actually been running about 6 to 6.5% more than a year ago. It's been an amazing anomaly this year. I never thought that cows would react to a mild winter like that, but I guess humans aren't the only ones that like mild winters.
That's right. And too, I think when we look at, and talk about the climate a little bit, when we look at Michigan and look at some of the advantages that we have here, it's a great fit for dairy.
You know, we have so many things going for us. The moderate weather we have in Michigan is conducive to milk production, but the infrastructure that we have in place, and infrastructure includes the producers, it includes the regulatory agencies, the legislative branches. It's unusual, I think, for a state to have those groups, regulatory, legislative, everybody working together. The university, also Michigan State University, all of them working together to make this a better place for the dairy industry. And it says a lot about what's happening in agriculture and in the dairy industry in the state of Michigan.
Well, and one of the things I want to make sure we get to talk about, because time goes fast, I think we have a couple minutes left as we look at this, but is exports.
Exports are the future for us. About all we gain in domestic consumption is the gains we see in population increases. We see double the possibilities of markets with the export market as we do with the domestic consumption. Over 13% of the milk we produced in this country last year was exported.
Well, and certainly when we look at that too, and we look at the opportunities and we look at the growth, the world population is certainly expanding, but there's other changes there that are helping the exports as well.
Well, one thing that's really helping us is the growth in middle income class around the world. This is an interesting slide that you're looking at right here. There's about 2.7 billion people in the world that are considered low income, and they are starting to consume dairy products. It doesn't sound that it's possible on an income of $2 to $8 a day, disposable income of $2 to $8 a day, that you'd start consuming higher protein diets, but they are. And the first things they're interested in is a safe food supply and a nutritious food supply, and especially for their kids. And then there's another estimate that says that group of people that's over $8 a day currently makes up 52%, which is what this slide's telling us, 52% of the world population. That group subsiding on $8 plus per day will grow to over 60% of the world population by 2020.
Wow. So
that is a group of people that are very likely to consume dairy.
Well, and Ken, thank you so much. That just shows us not only do we need to celebrate now, but we need to look at those opportunities in the future. So keep up the good work, right?
Thank you. We will.
We appreciate it. Folks, make sure you stay tuned. We will be back right after this message, and we're going to talk more about the dairy industry and how you can learn more about it.
The Cherry Marketing Institute wants you to know about tart cherries. Cherry's red color comes from powerful antioxidants. Available year-round, it's easy to incorporate cherries into your daily diet. Visit choosecherries.com.
Michigan's 1,000 apple growers take pride in producing delicious apples from one generation to the next. From the Great Lakes come great flavors. Look for locally grown Michigan apples.
Have Jody speak at your next agricultural event. Go to jodylive.com.
And welcome back. We are back with Aaron Gasper, Belding area dairy producer. Aaron, welcome back to the show.
Hi, Jody. How are you?
Good. It's good to have you here. It's good to have you back.
Great to be back. Great to be back.
I'm going to have you start and tell us a little bit about yourself and your operation.
Well, my name's Aaron Gasper. Myself and my dad, we farm 500 acres. We milk 500 cows and farm 1,000 acres in Belding, Michigan. And I would be the 5th generation on the original dairy.
Wow. Well, you know, so many times when you get on the farms, there's so much history and so much family heritage that goes along with the farm. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. I have 2 young first and second grade boys that do just see if they're interested in continuing on. We'll see.
And they're cuties. I know last time you were here, you were young dairy farmer.
Yeah, that's correct.
I was going to get that title.
That's correct.
It's a long title. So
they take after their mother.
There you go. They're very sweet. You know, and one of the reasons we had you come in today is to talk a little bit about a neat education program, the Michigan Dairy News Bureau.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just kind of open it up and have you tell us a little bit about what it is and why it's established and what you do.
It's called the Michigan Dairy News Bureau, and it was started in 2009. And it was originally started with 6 dairy producers across the state of Michigan and 2 veterinarians. And the main goal of the Michigan Dairy News Bureau is because we know how important it is for the commitment, of why the consumers need to know what our message needs to be. So it's very easy for us to tell our story through the Michigan News Bureau. And since then, it has grown to 35 dairy producers, 32 veterinarians. We also have dietitians and food dairy experts.
Well, and when you look at some of those, certainly, you know, we look at the why, and it seems like, you know, you talk about fifth generation farmer. It just seems like there's so many of us that had family that were on the farm that they're not anymore. And it just really seems like people don't know what it is that you do.
Well, and I think that's the main reason behind it, because we want to get our story out there. We want the consumers to know the work that we do, what we do, and how we do it.
Well, and it's a great story to tell, and you know, Ken mentioned when he was here some of the changes and the efficiency. Michigan really is a top dairy producing state, and I think it's important, and that's why we do it on this show, but to talk about what you do and why we're so good here in Michigan.
Right. No, it is. I really would encourage anyone to check out the website. There's a lot of great information, a lot of good details, a lot of things going on there. It's a great organization to be a part of.
Well, and as you guys put information out, let's talk a little bit about that. Is it speaking? Is it social media? Is it, you know?
It's everything. It's everything. I mean, with the help of the United Dairy Industry Michigan, the Michigan Dairy News Bureau have worked together, and whether it's in the classroom, it's on tours, or it's just when something happens or arises and you want to learn something about the dairy industry or how us dairy producers of Michigan work and collaborate, then that's the place to go.
Well, and certainly, you know, when we look at some of the younger folks and coming up and look at some of the schools and look at some of those educational opportunities, it just seems really important to have that feel and that understanding of what happens, because what you guys do, there's a lot of science, and you already mentioned a lot of hard work.
Yeah, that is. It's a lot of hard work. We put in a lot of hours at dairy farmers. But the best part is that we really love what we do. I mean, it's one of those things, taking care of those animals. We're out there to produce a very high quality, fresh, nutritious product called milk.
Well, and what do you find when you get out and talk with consumers? And what, I guess, maybe if there's a couple misconceptions or a couple questions that you get asked that, you know, we have folks here watching at home to kind of make sure they understand.
Yeah, you know, I would for sure, you know, that the website tells it all. I mean, there's so much good information on there, and yeah, I just really think the world of it.
We'll make sure we get that up, Michigan Dairy News Bureau. And folks, if you want to have somebody come out and speak, like you mentioned, Aaron, you have folks like yourself all across the state.
Perfect.
We'll get them out. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And we appreciate it. Folks, just a little bit more information. Certainly when you think about the dairy industry and the state, we know it's important. We talk about new opportunities like exports. We wouldn't have those opportunities, and we wouldn't have the ability to be able to grow that market and to develop that market if we didn't have producers out there. They're like Aaron and his family bringing up the 6th generation to look at the farm. We want to make sure you know what goes on that farm and what that has to do with the economic impact here in our state. So we'll make sure we put a link on MichiganFarmandGarden.com. You can make sure you go get a little bit more information, have somebody come to one of your meetings, and learn more about the dairy industry. Stay tuned. We'll be back right after this message.
This hog is Hanover hoof for meal made from U.S. soybeans. Now, one hog isn't that impressive, but suppose we add another, and another, and another. Before long, you've got billions of hungry customers around the world all clamoring for the same thing. Our soybeans. Learn more about the billion-dollar appetite of animal agriculture at BeyondTheElevator.com. Brought to you by America's soybean farmers and their checkoff.
And welcome back. We are back with Amy Vaselli. She's with the United Dairy Industry of Michigan. Amy, welcome to the show.
Hi, Jody. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you here. We eat so much dairy in our house, so I'm always looking forward to what you have. But I'm going to have you start and have you tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll talk a little bit about United Dairy Industry of Michigan and what you guys do and what you focus on.
Okay, great. Thanks, Jody. My name is Amy Vaselli. I'm a registered dietitian, and I work for the United Dairy Industry of Michigan. And what I do is I provide nutrition education for both schools and also health professional organizations. So it's a great job. I love what I do.
Well, and certainly that fits in great with June being Dairy Month.
Yes, and it's a wonderful time to be. It's a wonderful time of year to celebrate, and it's great to be here. June is Dairy Month, and so it's really important that we celebrate all the great things that dairy farmers are doing throughout the entire year. They're producing healthy products for us to consume. June Dairy Month started in 1937, and so it's been a long-standing tradition. So everybody celebrates a little bit differently, but we can talk about some ways how Michigan families can celebrate Dairy Month.
Well, and I think that sounds good, especially when we look at how does that fit in. And, you know, I know when it comes to dairy, dairy is a powerhouse when we look at our diets.
It is. And it's a great thing that you bring that up. The 2010 Dietary Guidelines recommend that we enjoy and consume more nutrient-rich products and foods. So milk, cheese, and yogurt are all naturally nutrient-rich, and so that's a perfect fit. The recommendations are that we get at least 3 cups of low-fat and fat-free milk, cheese, or yogurt every single day, and most of us are only getting 2. So that's why June Dairy Month is a perfect time to celebrate and to add in that additional serving of dairy every day.
Well, and I think too, and we talked a little bit as we were getting ready for the interview too, of there's so many neat ways and it's so easy. I'm going to have you just share some of these because dairy is a great thing to pack, and you know, especially like me with a young one, it's so easy and she loves it.
Absolutely. Dairy, you know, nutrient-rich snacks are great to have whether you're on the go, at home, or at work. So I brought a couple things here today. As you can see, we have our milk, our cheese, and our yogurt. They all pack a powerful nutrient punch, so that's important to remember. We'll get started with yogurt. Yogurt is great for intestinal health. So, you know, it keeps our intestines functioning correctly, and then it also is good for those that are lactose intolerant because it's easy to digest. One of my favorite yogurts is just a grab-and-go smoothie, easy to grab for a great breakfast to get your day started the right way.
Well, and I think that's one thing too, is not only is it good for you, but you guys in the industry have done a great job making it so easy to take along.
Exactly, and you know, cheese, we have some string cheese here. There's a ton of varieties, and that's what's so great about all the different dairy products that are on the market today. Cheese is great for your dental health because it contains protein, calcium, and also phosphorus. So those are three really good things that help protect against tooth decay. So another great thing to make sure you keep in your diet and add in that extra serving.
Well, and I'm so glad you hit all those because, you know, a lot of times I think we just take it for granted and we don't think about all the different options that we have with all the dairy.
Right, and I don't want to forget our milk here. Whether it's white or chocolate or any other flavor, it provides 9 essential nutrients, and it's great for bone health. It also contains vitamin D. You can really get a good bang for your buck with milk because, you know, at about 25 cents or less a glass, I mean, you get a lot of nutrition right in that little glass.
Well, and it's so easy, and there's nothing like an ice cold glass of milk, I just have to say.
I agree. Chocolate, that's my favorite.
There you go. There you go. Well, certainly when we look at it, lots of opportunities, and I know for the next segment you have brought a recipe for us.
Yes, we're going to enjoy a smoothie.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Well, Amy, let's take a quick break.
Okay.
Thank you so much for walking us through those.
Thanks for having me.
Stay tuned. We will take a quick break, and we will be back, and we're going to show you how to make a very easy, super tasty smoothie. Hi, I'm Jody. Corn is America's renewable resource. It can be used to fuel your vehicle and heat your home. Corn is grown in abundance in the state of Michigan, and it is a great alternative to foreign oil when it comes to heating your home. In fact, you can install a corn heater, furnace, or boiler in your own home. These work much the same as conventional furnaces, but they use Michigan-grown corn. By using corn to heat our homes, we're creating a more secure future for everyone. Select Michigan. It's good for you, the grower, and the economy. And welcome back. We are back again with Amy Vaselli. Amy, welcome back.
Thank you.
I am excited. You're going to show us how easy it is to incorporate dairy.
You know what? That's what we like to do, Jody. We like things that are quick and simple. And today we're going to go through a choco berry swirl smoothie. So,
all right.
You ready to get started?
I am ready.
All right, first we're going to add in 3 1/4 cups of frozen whole strawberries. If they all come out.
There you go.
The second ingredient is 2 cups of low-fat vanilla yogurt.
So far, very easy. I think we could all handle this.
You know what? That's what we like. We want kids to be able to reproduce, you know, easy recipes in the kitchen.
Well, I think that is so important, and getting them involved, it always gets them so excited.
It's really important to get them involved from a young age. And then we're going to add about a 1/2 cup of chocolate milk, just to make sure we have that little sweetness in there.
There we go. And we all like chocolate milk.
That is right. Now all we're going to do is blend it real quick.
There you go.
There we go.
It's looking good. Amy, I think I can see them lining up outside the studio with their glass for their test.
I think I do too. So we'll do a little taste testing here. One thing to really remember is that dairy products provide a lot of health benefits. So they're good for bone health, especially in children and adolescents. It's good for lowering adults' blood pressure. And also, it's been shown to decrease the risk of developing cardiovascular disease and also type 2 diabetes, something we hear about in the news a lot.
It is.
So, you know, make sure you get that additional serving of dairy every day.
Well, and one of the things I like, you know, as you make this, it's, I think the diversity, and especially at this time of year in Michigan, as we're looking at the blueberries coming on,
Right.
strawberry season, you can really tweak this and make it however you, or if you had kids helping, whatever their favorite is.
That's exactly. I love to challenge people. Come up with your family favorite recipe, and it can be a really fun project to do.
Well, and smoothies, again, like you said, so easy and a great way, I think, to get the kids involved and let them try some of those really funny combinations. You never know.
You know, we've actually done some taste testing with some jalapenos in some smoothies, so the opportunities are endless.
So jalapenos, good, yes.
You know, I didn't get to taste them, but I hear the kids loved them.
There you go,
So,
if you like spicy.
There you go.
Folks, we want to make sure you can get this recipe, so as always, visit us online at MichiganFarmandGarden.com, or you can write to Michigan Farm and Garden Recipes, P.O. Box 461, Williamston, Michigan 48895, and we'll make sure we go ahead and send you the recipe. So, Amy, if folks are out there, where else can we go? How can we get more recipes?
You can go to www.udim.org. There's tons of good recipes on there, all dairy friendly and all very healthy.
And I think one thing too, when we look at, you know, Aaron mentioned it, but a lot of the funding that you guys work with comes from the farmer. So these are tested, and it's great opportunities to use the products we have here in our state.
Absolutely. Keep things local, and the dairy farmers are doing a great job to provide those quality products for us. So everybody can enjoy their dairy products.
Well, and I think too, you mentioned, and I want to make sure I throw this in, really easy, especially like the Go-Gurts and some of those things, you can freeze them.
Yes, grab and go. Kids love them. They're great frozen, and they're easy to transport. You can throw them in a lunch, and by the time lunch comes around, it's usually thawed out, but still cold.
Okay. Well, I had to say that because I never thought of frozen the yogurt.
Yep.
So we were going to do that at our house, and we appreciate it. And you enjoy June is Dairy Month because I think you kicked us off to a good start.
Yes, I think we can cheers to the dairy producers and processors that make it possible.
Thank you so much, folks. Have a great week. See you next weekend. Bye-bye.